The acoustic cinema. That's what it's called. It shouts out StreamYard. That's the acoustic cinema.
I mean, it fits given that we did movies, film, cinema,
Movie. But it's the thing where this was the music before movies. You know what I'm saying? Like we
had an official intro by Sham. Yeah.
We'd already. Matter of fact, is that I don't have that loaded. Do I? I'll load that in here. We could actually we should load it because this is an official episode, right?
Yeah.
This is technically episode
18, I believe, right?
17, 18, something like that. I'd have to check. I think I titled the PSA like 16.9.
That's why I said, yeah, it's supposed to be like 16 and a half or whatever.
On our end. So I think this may technically be episode 17.
No, 18 is what it says, yeah. So 17 then it'd be, yeah.
Wait, what's 18? Or
this is supposed to be 17 because the PSA would be 16 and a half, like you were saying. Like
right.
So this is 17. 18 is what, hopefully, if the guest of honor is available this coming week.
Wow. Yeah, how about that?
People be busy. We have
people be busy, but people also like aren't allowed to be on the internet or whatever, right?
I wouldn't say it's because of that.
But it is facts.
Yeah. But there's other episodes too. I've been thinking of some more episodes. Again, this is White Noise. I am Drip, your host. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Cal, founder of Black Wrestling, host of the Black Wrestling Podcast Club.
Happy All Hallows Eve. Nobody's watching right now, but happy All Hallows Eve. That's when we record. Do you go out for like the White Noise intro is not loaded? Did you ever go out for Mischief Night, Drip?
Nah.
Never.
Nah, what's Mischief Night again? What is that?
You don't know what Mischief? Wait, you don't know what Mischief?
I can't remember. It sounds familiar, but I mean, again, when you have to remember the shit I have to remember for the pod, you forget. As Matt will always say, like my mind's a computer database, blah blah blah, and that's why me and people will be astounded when I'm able to ramble on this and that and
random fucking stats. Mischief Night, for those who don't know, is essentially the night where it's always the night before Halloween, and it's usually when like kids like go ham. Like, you know, if you're gonna toilet paper somebody's house, it's gonna be on Mischief Night. If you're gonna egg somebody's car, or you know, whatever shitty prank you're gonna do to someone during the spooky season, it's gonna happen on Mischief Night.
Did you ever participate?
No, the only Mischief Night story that I have, when I was in college, I went to college in North Philly for 1 year. Oh, fuck, how real do I want to be? Like a day or two before, this would have been, maybe a couple days before Halloween. It was like a guy that like my college roommate was cool with had just got a new bong. Again, we were in North Philly.
How often would you smoke back then, real quick?
More often than I probably should have been smoking.
I ain't trying to be Officer Drip.
No, it's fine. Again, this was like this is over 20 years ago. He was like, "Yo, I got this new piece. I'm going back home." I had nothing to do. Like the one chick, we weren't like together, but like we were cool. Again, we would get lit together. So she was like, "Bet." We were all cool, but we never really chilled with him before. He lived somewhere like far, like maybe like 40 minutes away. So we like took an adventure to go like break in this piece with him. Spent maybe like a day out there, had like a great turkey club sandwich. Like, you know, it was an amazing adventure. We got back to North Philly. It was like 8:30. It was dark the night before Halloween. I don't know what direction the eggs flew, but there were either eggs coming from where I was walking or they were coming over where but there were kids like throwing Nolan Ryan fucking pitches of eggs that we just luckily didn't get hit with. But and at that point,
like, you think God came down and stopped those eggs? Like,
again, we took a car from the university out that way. So by the time it
Yeah,
was,
what you don't realize is you were so high, the eggs actually did hit you.
no, I swear to God, I'm not. I didn't feel anything, but we had to take a train back. So like where we landed in Philly was like in the middle of everything. Like, the city was alive, and it wasn't like South Street. It was like the city of Philadelphia. So anybody who was ready to go crazy on Mischief Night was throwing eggs. This one, North Philly is through every day. North Philly was the first place I saw cats driving the ATVs.
ATVs on the street.
They were driving them on the street, but then my man curved onto the sidewalk and was driving the ATV on the sidewalk. Shouts to North, salute to North, like for real. I love Philly. The art scene in Philly is crazy, but Philly is also just like a different
Gotham City.
The Phillies about to win the World Series at some point this year. Like it feels like that's about to happen.
There are 2 games up now. Let me see real quick.
They were greasing the poles because they were climbing the poles when the Eagles won. I can only imagine what happens when the Phillies win the World Series after however many years.
Oh no, it's 1-1 right now in the series.
They're facing the Astros.
Yeah, the cheaters, the dirtiest players in the game, the Astros.
It's a time, man. It's really a time. But anyway, that's not why we're here at all, right? I don't know why. What are we doing, Drip?
I don't know. I figured, we've been on Patreon, and then we drop the episodes on YouTube a week later. I thought we'd do a live episode.
I like it.
We don't do TTMN like our Family of Black Announce Table does, or we'll take questions kind of live during the episode, but not really. If someone asked something, but I thought, it'd be cool if people wanted to watch an episode live and ask us stuff during it. Otherwise, there's stuff that we can talk about.
They should have. Hold on, let me put this on the tweet.
But
ask us some questions.
But yeah, I just figured, people could see what's on the Patreon so they can pay the 10. I mean, you've been dropping some Black Wrestling podcast clubs. You and Sparks and Math mainly have been doing those together. You guys haven't dropped, I should say you because you're the again, the architect of everything BRP.
That's not good. Me being the architect is bad because I'm not 100% organized, so shit'll come out, but
well, I'm saying we haven't dropped a Bulls in the China Shop episode even on the YouTube yet. That's a Patreon only. Same thing with Blackwatch, but that has to be Patreon exclusive.
Shouts to Vin Forte.
Vin Semp.
Vin. Well, the thing is, Vin will send me videos, and I can't play videos on the YouTube at all the way this works. So,
did we get striked on a Thursday?
No.
Oh,
actually, let me check to confirm. We good in the hood, which is interesting because we played
oh my goodness.
Oh, I took that clip. Oh my God. What is this?
What is that? What is that?
Oh my.
Stevie Ray, have you seen? That damn well. He was like, I was on SmackDown and look what they got me watching.
Steve, I'm gonna play this tape for you. You see, look. Oh my God, what is this? That's crazy.
But no, I mean, mainly on White Noise for anyone who hasn't been watching on the Patreon or the YouTube. I mean, unfortunately, it's very me centric, but that's the point of the show. It's White Noise with Drip. So we've been talking Jay White, Adam Cole, baby. We've been talking 49er football, which is going on right now. They're currently losing to the Rams, unfortunately.
Wait, I thought when did they start losing?
The game started about
wait, no, I thought they weren't they undefeated at one point?
No, Cal, you were out of it that episode. Let's not forget.
That's when they stopped. That's when they stopped being undefeated.
No, there was kind of, I think, a reverse jinx going after that episode. We ended up getting Christian McCaffrey, which worked out, but then we ended up dropping 2 games since that episode after riding high on 2 back-to-back wins. So but shout out to Black John Studd, the family.
Salute. I've not really talked to Black John Studd since. I don't know if he was mad at me.
I don't know if his power went out during the episode. That's why.
That's what happened. I don't.
He said Gallows and Anderson showed up and the power went out.
I really don't remember. I remember he just left at one point. I was like, yeah, I was kind of.
I wasn't leaving as much as it shut down.
No, facts. Big facts.
But again, I got some other episodes planned. We had just done an Orange Cassidy episode, and look how that worked out. We had just done the Finn Balor episode, and that's how it worked out. That's kind of the whole point of the PSA, was to kind of talking about what we've been doing recently and previewing upcoming stuff.
Let the
I
people
guess
know.
given this whole CM Punk being finished in AEW, I'll finally put that episode together and talk about the year that was CM Punk in AEW. The episode we were trying to do the past 2 weeks in a way was really supposed to be geared towards cruiserweights, junior heavyweights, X Division wrestlers, giving them the anniversary of 25 years since the Eddie Guerrero Rey Mysterio match. That episode still can happen. Let's hope. Gotta have
We could do that.
positive vibes.
The way I see WrestleMania working, I think that's when we're going to get Dominic and Ray. So we get.
Oh yeah, that too.
And I think the Eddie Ray conversation. I mean, he already sowed the seed. Talk about long-term booking. He sowed them seeds last week or whatever, and then that's going to chill. That's marinating until whenever they meet up again.
The way I always try to do the show is to link things up. I try to look at it again from that writer director perspective, like it has to kind of be at this time, or like factor all the out stuff. I don't as much have like a full prep, but I do like my own rundown in a way to orchestrate everything. That's why I gather the images and such to put together and tell the story of the pod. That's almost like a visual essay, because that'd be too hard to do. I can only do the videos on Twitter as best I can, even though those are good, but still those are tough. The people that can do those, I respect the hell out of them.
That's how I approach the podcast. It's kind of like what was the world this week in life. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that time, it's actually kind of beautiful that we do. Like, I will say this for people who are watching. Shouts out to everybody watching right now on a Sunday evening. Most of the stuff is live to tape. We don't really, even if you don't get it when we record it, there's not a lot of editing that's going on in between these conversations. So I kind of look at every video as not a time capsule per se, but kind of where were we at in pro wrestling at that time? You know what I'm saying? And it's dope to have multiple iterations of that within Black Wrestling proper. But
that was the thing we had, except this week we didn't spend too much time on it, but we had back-to-back Mox Talk segments. So it was, the five of us, and then Matt the Mimi were on you, I, and Pam talked about it. And then the week that he faces Penta, we really didn't spend too much time on it, but it played into a bigger purpose of him and MJF. But the thing that we didn't talk about, and I'm kind of gearing towards a future White Noise episode, is when Finn Balor said, "I'm the one that started this club business." When he said that to AJ Styles and Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows, I'm thinking of maybe doing a Leaders of the Bullet Club type episode and how that's worked out in a way.
All right, hold up.
Because it's kind of like what Dr. Dre said. He was basically, I started this gangster shit, and this motherfucking thanks I get. That's basically what Finn Balor was feeling.
Because I had that in. I feel like I wrote that in the notes.
It was. There's just too much to talk about this past week. That was the thing in the PWI.
But wait. Dropped. So Finn Balor what was the Bullet Club before Finn? There was no Bullet Club?
No, he created it. Yeah, it's him, Bad Luck Fale, Tama Tonga, and Carl Anderson.
So him looking at AJ and the OC and saying, I forget the exact wording, but any of the clubs that came after what I started is riding my coattails. I mean, that's true for the original club, the OC that's in the WWE. Also true for
Uh-oh. Might be having technical difficulties. Give us a second. Cal, you there? I can hear you, but you're not moving. It's like what happened with Matt the other night. Well, I'm just going to say what Cal was saying is that Finn Balor was the one that started the Bullet Club. And then when he had signed... Oh, you back? Oh. I think Cal might be having a Roblox situation going on.
My fault.
Was someone playing Roblox?
I mean, it's 5 o'clock in my time, so I mean, at some point, my son is playing the video. Where were we at? What were we talking about?
The Bullet Club. Yeah, no, Finn Balor was the one. I in a way, everything in the Elite AEW, in a way, is Finn Balor's doing.
Like he's really the architect of that shit.
Yeah,
If you want to look at it in a way,
do that episode like that, because even again, someone like Jay White's growth is from Finn Balor.
That I don't think of Finn Balor like that. But when he said that, I took note when I was watching Raw and he said that. I took notice. I said, "Oh," because I mean, it's an obvious shot to AJ in the feud that they're working on. It's an obvious shot to AEW. But when you think of what the Bullet Club is and what that really, because
and its relevancy today, yeah.
But I'm saying, like, New Japan is selling shirts right now. Finn ain't eating off of that.
No, not anymore. No.
But it's a whole style of wrestling that if he didn't start Bullet Club and have that vision, you may not have what's going on TNT and TBS every week.
No, not at all. AJ Styles also played a big role as well because he's the one who took the baton from Finn Balor, and then Kenny Omega after AJ Styles, and then Jay White after Kenny Omega. That's why I'm gonna work that whole episode out and talk about it. Hopefully, maybe at the start of the year.
We've had those conversations before, though.
Mm-hmm. That's an interesting one having, and given how everything looks. But I'm always trying to come up with ideas. But one thing I did want to talk about,
okay,
because they said that is All Hallows Eve.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of on Twitter. I kind of put like a thread together the last 2 years in a way, like the Halloween content I'm into. It's very much more like comedic, or not as horror as we talked about with Halloween on Black Wrestling Podcast Club. The kind of spooky season content I enjoy is not as like gore and horrific, but
like Hocus Pocus.
No, see, I think that's dumb. What I'm trying to say is, like, I said, like, we might talk about this today. If you don't get that many questions, but it's a great pumpkin, Charlie Brown. It's probably my favorite piece of Halloween content of all time.
No love. See, y'all love. Shouts out to something else. Every episode during the 5 count, they ask if people are Apple or Android. Apple's the one that messed up Great Pumpkin not being on regular TV all the time.
But you can watch it for free if you just have the Apple TV
app. You got to be smart enough to sign up and subscribe. My mom's not doing that.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part of these rights being sold the way they are, and ownership, and the fact that cable died and streaming won.
Right.
But you can also find it on YouTube. It's cutting like, I think there was like 10 clips. That's like the whole thing on YouTube. If you type in "It's a Great Pumpkin," you just watch the playlist. And then, like, so I rewatched it yesterday. But like, what do you think of "It's a Great Pumpkin," Charlie Brown?
Oh, I've every year I forget, but like this year it was like September. I'm like, yo, next year I'm gonna build like the most sincere pumpkin patch in front. Like, it's Charles Schultz was really like the fact that he was so good at nailing like the depression people have during holidays, as well as like getting into the nonsense of people walking around in fucking ghost costumes or whatever to get candy. To like the idea, like, I don't know how often you go to Walmart. I went to Walmart this morning.
I try not to go that often, but if I do get stuff that's only sold at Walmart. So yeah,
Halloween is gone. It's officially Christmas at Walmart right now. The shelves that had Halloween candy up on them yesterday, and like completely empty. Like, it's the consumer, the commercialization of every holiday is deep. Like, I'm into all of that stuff, but I'm also just like a big. I was a kid that was into Snoopy and Peanuts and all that stuff, so I'm gonna like that shit. But if we're talking Peanuts, it's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, maybe number 2. Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown is number 1.
I really haven't seen the Christmas one as much from much of the others. The Great Pumpkin always has just been my favorite because I've seen it the most and I just enjoy it the most. And in a way, like the subtext of it too is brilliant. Like I think I can resonate with Linus a lot. Like he is this dreamer in a way. Like he's the only one that believes in this Great Pumpkin. It's like being a wrestling fan.
Yeah,
Like everyone's
Linus is
telling him.
goated.
He's
Right.
like everyone's telling him like, "Oh, you're so dumb to believe in this. Why are you wasting your time?" Blah blah blah. He's like, "No, I believe in the great." Like, it's like again like rooting for Finn Balor earlier this year when he was losing all the time, or rooting for Danielson in AEW. Like you get your hopes up, and like every year that great pumpkin, you sit in that pumpkin patch and it never comes. He's like, "It will happen. It
You holding
happened."
on, you holding on to that belt like Linus be holding on to his blanket.
Nah, I'm gonna keep hold on. So that's the thing I forgot to say at the top of the episode. I am the reigning, defending, and still will be this time next Sunday, BRP predictions champion. But
Kofi Jamal, y'all and anybody Banks, y'all watching this, pay attention. We'll see what happens if this man's holding next Sunday. I'll say this next Sunday, if this man is holding this title next week,
you'll see, like Leonard says, you will see Charlie Brown.
Salute
see the Great Pumpkin is real.
Casual Monday. Shouts to Mo Skrilla, the God. What's good with
Kofi Jamal, Mo Skrilla. If fan has a question that he wants to ask,
no, for real. If y'all got any questions y'all want to ask us,
but in a way, it's also a romance because Sally's like a ride or die for him. She's like, oh, Linus, like she falls for like
Sally's a ride or die until she realizes that shit ain't happening.
That's real marriage, right? Like false promises at some point. Like
so someone told Sally that Drake was going to show up in the pumpkin patch, and when she realized Drake ain't showing up, she kind of got offended. But she was going to wait until like 2 a.m.
You trying to say it's that episode of Atlanta where they go to the mansion where he's on tour.
This is White Noise with Drip every week on the Black Wrestling.
Anyway. But no, she's legit like. Because he's just like every year he comes and delivers us presents and toys, and she's like, "That's amazing!" Like, and what backing does he have to prove this?
I was gonna say, what presents is the Great Pumpkin bringing you on All Hallows? Like, what is it? It's because it's not candy, right? You get,
but then he's right to mock Charlie Brown, like you believe in that guy and the beer that goes ho ho ho. He's like, so don't call me an idiot, like. Again, it's a wrestling fan. It's like
I'm sorry, Drew. We asked for questions.
What number haircut was on that?
Yeah, hold on. Don't go out of order. We're gonna get ready because again, this is a live. No, not that one. There you go. Yeah, this is a live Q&A for White Noise. I don't know where the white boy went, but we got some questions. Shouts to the chat. Maybe we got a. All right, Drip. I'm gonna hit you with these questions. We totally went left from.
We can get back to it.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. That's if your Wi-Fi is still working. Because right now I'm dealing with angry Cal. I'm looking Cal and Roman Reigns starting to get like the gray in the middle of their beard. Like, so this is like Cal's looking at me. Like I said, Cal ain't. I don't give a damn about Cal. I might have to do the questions myself if he ain't coming back. If Lau doesn't get out the Xbox. All right, let me see what's going on. More Skrilla. We got DMV fan 1234. We got Banks, Coach Jamal still here. I might need Fam to come and do we might have to call in a backup producer. Fam, pick up them sticks. We are experiencing technical difficulties. We'll be back shortly. In the meantime, thank you for joining us. This is White Noise with Drip. Shout out to Body More Bottles, as always. Zell. I never have liquor in my Body More Bottles cups, just Sprite and Dr. Pepper, Arizona team. I'm waiting for Cal, Banks. He said, wait, he's trying to put the questions on the screen. Don't call me a boy. What are you, Dwayne Johnson? Plus, I gotta look at the score of the Niner game. I had to turn off the TV. Pay attention. They were down 14-7, but hopefully that's not the case. It's still 14-7. Shit.
Sorry.
That's all right. All right, so you got the questions now.
Yeah. Well, here we go.
All
What the
right.
fuck? Here we go. What do y'all, Donnie Luce, what do y'all think the trajectory of both companies heading into 2023 looks like? I'm assuming that means WWE and AEW.
Yeah, given ROH isn't started yet, Impact is the cockroach that won't die. New Japan's relevancy in the US is kind of up and down still. I was listening to the radio he did, I think, with Garrett the other night, and he was saying that business-wise, AEW isn't having good houses in the last few weeks.
That's interesting.
Like the one in West Virginia didn't do as well as numbers as the one in Cincinnati did. And he's like, that's all right, because, they were red hot earlier in the year, so it doesn't matter. And given,
they do big on pay-per-view, so yeah, they may be fine.
Yeah, so it'll be up and down. But again, like the ratings have been kind of down as well, but that's because Tony Khan tries to stack these cards with the same people every week. You got to, again, diversify these cards.
Right.
We got to have Ricky Starks on TV. We got to have Phoenix on TV. We just can't keep having JAS and Danielson and Moxley over and over.
But what do you think that means for next year?
CM Punk mattered a lot to them. He brought in a lot of money. I'd be interested to see what it looks like. I wouldn't say the end is near, but Banks and I have been saying 2024, this company's on the... it'll be dead by 2024, is what Banks and I have always said, just because it seems like an Icarus thing. They're gonna fly way too close to the sun.
Wow.
And get burned. We said that in 2020, and look what's happened. They brought CM Punk in, and he's gone. And as for WWE, I mean, Triple H is trying to make a lot of changes for the better. I think these gimmick pay-per-views going by the wayside is smart, that we don't have to shoehorn in these matches or feuds into these stipulations. But I don't know. He's bringing back some people who I think were gone for a reason as well.
Word.
No offense to Braun Strowman, Emma, whoever else he might bring back in the future. You can kind of see like the shines off Karrion Kross. But I think his booking and the stars they have are good enough to carry the ball of what they've been doing. I don't think they'll fall off.
We'll see.
What about you? What do you think?
I mean, I think AEW is going to be fine. I don't think AEW is going to have a problem. I think realistically it's their game to lose, right? Like,
yeah,
they have the momentum. If they can't capitalize on that, it's on them. WWE going to be fine too. Honestly, Triple H knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
He's been a student, and he's not a. Yeah, I've seen what he can do live, and that'll go into one of these questions later. 2024 sounds optimistic in terms of them crashing and burning, but I think it could happen if if 2023 is bad for Tony Khan, then anything.
Let's take into account how Rampage looks every Friday. It's not a good show. It's poorly put together. There's only really one good moment. Last week's was Willow signing. This week was, what was it? That's it. Like that's the thing. Like it's a forgettable show that if they don't turn it into ROH at some point, then what's the point?
But I think the thing is if they turned it into ROH next week and it was a good show, then none of that matters.
Well, it would matter if you kind of keep these storylines that are involving the ROH titles strictly on there. That way they're not wasting time on Dynamite. Like, we don't need to have FTR, even though they're rightfully the number one contenders, but you start to border that, like, all right, we have a roster here and a roster here. Now we can again bring in more of these underutilized talents that
No,
haven't been on
right.
TV as much.
And we got to get to the next question, but I think the hope is that if they're doing that, that stuff isn't burning all the way out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I
there's
also think it's because he's the sole booker. Like he's the sole. Like
well,
he's gonna burn himself out, and that's gonna
of
drive
course,
people away.
I think obviously if ROH is its own entity, they need to have their own. Put somebody competent over there, have consultation and advisory over there. But the days of doing everything can't be the same if he's running AEW as a whole promotion and Ring of Honor as a whole TV show, pay-per-view. Like it, at some point, him trying to do too much is probably going to be the bigger downfall.
That's been my thing the whole time. It's not the talent they have, because they've always had good talent, and then they were able to acquire good talent, and they've had a bad string of injuries in the last 6 months. That's kind of also been detrimental to them, unfortunately.
That's a good point, Donnie. There is a lot of WWE gazing that goes on with these situations. But we got to get to the next conversation. Fam asks Drip, what number on the haircut poster was that? Do you know what the haircut poster is, Drip?
Yeah.
Was that
let me that one right there?
When you went, did you go to the barbershop and say,
I've had this same haircut since 2015? Well, it used to be styled differently, but I've had the one on the sides and long on the top since like 2013.
What was that based off of?
I saw Gareth Bale's haircut and Justin Timberlake's haircut. Gareth Bale's a Welsh soccer player.
Okay.
And at the time, Justin Timberlake had the 2020 experience going on. So I kind of blended the two of like the slick back. It used to be more slicked back and like with the hard gel. Like I was almost looking Pat Riley-esque.
Give me the white boy. And they were like, I got you.
Yeah. Well, I finally started to care about what my hair looked like.
Not a me. So wait, so on the sides was your hair is longer?
No, there's nothing on the side.
No, I'm saying if you weren't doing the white boy, the number one on all around.
Oh, well, it would grow out all over, you mean?
Your shit would be that long all over?
I don't have the patience for it. I've tried it, but then after a month, I'm like, because when it starts to get over the ears is when I want a haircut.
That's when I know to cut my son's hair when he's not trying to do it. Shouts to DMV fan 123. Yes, best live wrestling event y'all been to, Drip?
I really like the Dynamite me and my dad went to this year. That was a good episode, the Quake by the Lake.
Mm-hmm.
It had Lucha Bros versus La Faction and Gobernable, Darby Allin and Brody King in the coffin match. Jericho Moxley was pretty good. Got to see Jay Cargill live. My dad really enjoyed that, as did I, but him in particular. And CM Punk returned. That was the crazy thing. Like I saw this man return from injury and he's gone already.
You went to a very eventful show.
But I did enjoy the two NXT live events I had gone in December 2018 and February 2020.
Word. I've not been to a lot of live pro wrestling, but I will say.
But you just went to Extreme Rules, so.
2022 has had two great live pro wrestling events for me. I got to see the tail end, no pun intended, of the Black Girl Magic 2 show in Brooklyn early this year, including shouts out to Hearts, shouts out to Spice. Got to see Willow Nightingale before she got signed to AEW. Got to see Faye Jack. I put the comments in there now. Tell me on Twitter in my mentions. I got to finish the video for Black Girl. I hopefully before Christmas. Whatever little action clip I have.
It was crazy though seeing Billy Dixon and Hoodfoot have a fucking death match in Dallas. Again, I was willing to sit in that front row, and then Bam and everyone else chickened out like a bunch of cowards.
And then you saw some violence.
I was willing to sit there until fans said, "Come on." I ain't trying to get you killed with some glass
back here,
because King Trey D himself was sitting down. As soon as glass hit, he was like, "Nope."
Get my ass back up here. Nah, but yeah, I got to see Willow Nightingale and Black Girl Magic 2. But also going to Extreme Rules in Philly earlier this year and seeing Bianca Belair First time I saw Bailey in this iteration live. Seth Rollins and Riddle and the Cage.
What SummerSlam did you go to?
SummerSlam 1990. It was at the Philadelphia Spectrum. That was the year. I believe there was a Hart Foundation Demolition tag match. Boss Man. I don't know. I don't think Hulk Hogan may not have been on that show.
No, I'm trying to think.
I think the main event may have been some type of,
because the prior years it was him and Brutus versus Zeus and Macho, and then the year before that was the Mega Powers against the Mega Bucks.
I think there was like a warrior.
It had to have been Warrior Rick Rude,
something like that. It was one of those things.
Yeah.
Davis, what's your top 5 house albums?
That's more, I think, Cal's expertise.
Do I have?
I guess I'd have to say, honestly, never mind. Honestly, never mind. Honestly, never mind. Honestly, never mind. Honestly, never mind.
Do I have a top 5 house? I mean, if you rock with house, I don't know if I have a top 5 house albums, but I'll say like, you need to know who Juan Atkins is. Like, you need to know who Daft Punk is. I think you need to know who. Why am I blanking on my man's name? I don't know. There's so many black legends in house music that, like, Kevin Saunderson. Like, it's hard to really talk about albums when the genre of electronic music has been so whitewashed. But that's we'll have a conversation of white noise about
whitewash white noise
if y'all really want to have that conversation.
What do you mean? No, that's a Black Rasta Podcast Club episode. That's your expertise.
We can do whatever. We'll see. Kofi Jamal. I like Linus with his girl in high school. I was sure I'd seen that pump. Jesus Christ. Mo Skrilla says, have y'all ever dressed up as a wrestler for Halloween? Drip?
Yeah, the last time I have. Oh no. Last year, I don't forget I was Drip Cena because you guys had bought me the sweatpants and hat.
When Cena came back, I said, "Yo, they got the." It was either the shirt and the hat, or like it was.
But I told you I never had the sweatbands growing up.
It was I needed to. There were 2 different packages. I think it was like the sweatbands and the hat, or like the shirt and the sweatbands. And I don't think you liked the shirt, or there was something you didn't fuck with.
No, it was a complete surprise. What I had said was. I had gone as John Cena the last time I went trick-or-treating, so I was 11 or 12. I had my Boston Red Sox Little League jersey. I think I probably wore the same hat as well. My jorts, I was probably wearing DCs at the time. I'm not sure. My sweatbands, and I had my toy championship belt. That's the spinner belt. Which I think if I retain, well, not if, when I retain next weekend, this is gonna upgrade to the spinner belt.
Like a real spinner belt, or are you gonna get like
we're gonna get the spinner belt? Yeah, we gotta put the money from the super chat into the spinner belt.
Here you go. Here you go. We'll figure that out.
I ain't paying for it. The fans are paying for it.
I've never dressed. I've never dressed up as a wrestler for Halloween.
I went to the mall for like a trick or treat thing in the mall because I grew up in apartments, but like so we just kind of migrated to like stores in the mall. We're giving out candy, and a guy at Foot Locker was like, "It's John Cena." Like he knew who I was.
He hooked you up.
I think I probably got a good amount of candy, yeah. But he had recognized the costume. He was like, "Oh, it's John Cena." Like he thought it was cool. So yeah,
that's dope. I've never been in that situation. My son has kind of acted like pro wrestlers before. He's never done a full-fledged pro wrestler Halloween gimmick for a costume, but next time. Mo Skrilla asks, favorite versions of the suplex, DDT, and power bomb? Wow. Favorite suplex? And this is belly to belly, this is belly to back.
That's what I was gonna say. And if it's like variations, because I would say the jackhammer, I mean, it's a suplex that lifts and then you just turn to the side instead.
Jackhammer's hard. I always liked was that Kevin Nash's power?
The jackknife was the jack. That's the thing. Goldberg had the jackhammer. Kevin Nash had the jackknife.
I like the jackknife.
Just hold you up and you just like fall.
I like the jackknife. The jackknife power bomb was always one of my favorites. Arn Anderson's DDT.
See, I liked earlier this year the neighborhood legend himself. He did the flipping DDT on Mr. 52. I created that move with some toys when I was a kid. Like I grabbed the toys and like flip the dude.
Did you create it or did you recreate it?
I invented that maneuver. I swear.
There you go. I'm glad this is documented for the internet to see.
I swear, if I ever get to talk to Ricky Starks, I'm saying like, how did you come up with that move? Because I came up with that move.
LA 2023. Ricky Starks, you know I created that shit with some toys, right? Oh, my fault, Drip. I saw it. My fault. My fault.
No, I'm saying like, hey, I hope he'll have an answer. Then I can ask him like, what's your favorite Drake song and all that. Like, we could talk about Euphoria season 3 whenever it comes out.
The show ain't never come back.
Real quick, let me ask you a question. Did you watch the Liv Morgan Chucky episode?
I'm not caught up. I've seen her get stabbed by Chucky with and without special effects, just based off the timeline.
I was disappointed to see that she was Liv Morgan.
Well, I think that the way that because the guy who's writing the show, like the Svengali of Chucky, Don Mancini, he's been doing it since the beginning. So like,
this iteration is all about like breaking the fourth wall, right?
Well, no, that's what I was gonna say. Like I was telling fam this on the Buffy on Friday night. You can see the full episode on Tuesday. There's been like Chucky has gone through so much as a character that once you get to 2022, where like you have like fourth wall breaking and shit being meta, there's so much Chucky history that goes into it, where the episode that was this past Wednesday or whatever it came on, it was kind of about like the Chucky as a character and the lore, and she was on the show in her Chucky gear, you know what I'm saying? So like it was very self-referential, and I kind of like, my hope was that she was going to be a character that wasn't Liv Morgan in the show, but
it's also good branding.
I was going to say, I think for Universal, for her and where she's going as a character on SmackDown, it's a dope. During Halloween, it made sense. But again, I talked to her about this last year in this seat. Like, yo, Liv, you trying to act? She was like, yo, I would love to get killed by Chucky on season 2. So just to see her be able to realize that is dope enough for me.
Favorite powerbomb will either be, because Jushin Liger invented the sit-out powerbomb, like the Batista bomb. But I've always, this is what we would talk about with that high like cruiserweight style episode, is like cruiserweights doing powerbombing each other, where they just spike and then stack with the pin, because they're smaller guys. Like Pegasus would do that. Demolingo would do that.
What do they call them? Like a stuffed power bomb or whatever. They call the shit. Yeah.
What do we got next?
What's next? Tristan said Miller draft.
Only you can answer that, Kyle.
I will. I don't drink. I'm not a Miller drinker at all. So if I'm gonna have to put a 211 Steel Reserve, at the very least, I know that'll get me lit. I can't do Miller Genuine Draft, Miller Light, Miller. I can't. That's some next level shit. What's next? Tristan said, "Would you take a headbutt by Ava Raine or a chop by Gunther?" I think I'm gonna take I'm going to take the headbutt by Ava Raine. I've seen and heard the Gunther chop live.
Oh, yeah.
That shit ain't no joke.
Hearing regular chops live is no joke, but a Gunther chop, yeah. That one, again, I'm about to say bird-chested, so that shit
I was going to say,
even
you're
more.
also like white as fuck, though. Like when I was in Philly, Sheamus walked, because
I'm as white as Sheamus, yeah.
Sheamus and Gunther had that match on SmackDown the night before, and he was already like red and bruised up. So for him to go into Donnybrook and get like that shit, I'm good. I'm A-okay. I'll take the headbutt from Ava Raine.
Headbutt. I mean, I think I've taken bumps on my head, so I don't think I have any CTE that I'm aware of. So yeah,
I've not taken a headbutt before, and if I'm going to take a headbutt by anybody,
why wasn't the slam by Rhea Ripley up?
It can be the Rock's daughter.
Oh god,
giving me a headbutt compared to Goose. Yeah,
anything for that interview, huh?
I'm gonna get it one of these days. Let's see. Fam say y'all are always ready to be reckless.
He's one
most Skrilla's picks were the Dragon Suplex, the Tornado DDT, and the Sit Out Powerbomb, which
all
you
good
did
picks.
mention. Yeah, all good.
I do love the Dragon Suplex out of all the like suplex variations. Spinner belt.
Top 5 world title designs. Tristan, aka Rickmaker 13, says Drip said the spinner belt.
Spinner belt, big gold belt.
Mm-hmm.
The IWGP title, the one that they got rid of, the one that's famous with Okada and all of them.
Right.
I'm trying to think of some other ones I really like. What's ones that are coming to you?
I mean, like the Winged Eagle.
See, I never really was a big Winged Eagle or Attitude Era. Just didn't see it.
The Winged Eagle was the belt of my childhood. That's the belt Hogan held, Warrior held.
I mean, this is all right. I don't hate this.
No, I love the World Championship, the World's Heavyweight Championship title belt as well. I that's a classic design, but I do love the big gold belt as well, because while the Winged Eagle was the one brand, the other brand was the big gold belt.
See, impacts were so like
I never got into.
And shout out to Chris Bay. He posted that video once of him as a kid.
I love that. I love that.
That world title belt, and that was when I was kind of seeing after they transitioned away from this one.
Right. Those belts, so like I wasn't into Impact.
Only the X Division belt, but that's not a world title. Is the thing.
They didn't mean anything. And world titles, because there's title like the Intercontinental title is a title I love, but there's a lot of world title designs that I don't like.
I like the basic the one that they brought back, the one that Chris Jericho was holding, the ROH world title. It's so basic, but it fits kind of ROH's vibe. I like that look. With
the little red outline, I think it makes a nice touch in there. But it's
the
like
AEW title always kind of gone back and forth. It's a thing like that. It looks good on like the right person sometimes, but I've never liked it just as is.
I like that it has like the main plate and then like the larger plate on the sides.
Like it basically like folds in a way.
Right, but I'm not like. It's a lot of black and gold, and I'm not the biggest fan of the way it looks.
The NXT, the one that
right. No, exactly.
It's not the one that they upgraded to, not the original, just plain big N and then X and T on the side. The Adam Cole, Bobby Roode, Prince Finn Balor one. That's another one. So I guess that'd be 5. Yeah.
There you go. Kofi Jamal asks, have you guys ever been in a neighborhood wrestling league and or make your own belts from cardboard, aluminum foil, and markers? I was never in a neighborhood I have homies who would actually. Shouts out to a DJ Iron Mike in my area. He's got video of the like backyard wrestling league that him and his, because he was at a time outside of Fam and Math and like people on Twitter. There were like people on Facebook I'd interact with, and I didn't realize that in my area there was like a whole like backyard wrestling league that was going on. But I never got into all of that. The most I got into like I would do. I'm real fucking old. I would do like the play by mail pro wrestling like fantasy shit where like you would essentially pay for like a move set and a certain number of matches, and you would hope that your move set was good enough to continue you on to get like the most my character ever got was like a tag title. Me and this other cat, we were tag champs for like a week or two, but there were like 6 different tag titles. But anyway, did you ever make a title, Drip?
You know what, I did, but not in the way you would think. So I had like, do you remember the show Ultimate Muscle or the anime?
Ultimate Muscle sounds familiar.
It was basically like I think an anime or a manga in Japan about a wrestler. Like, so I had a bunch of those little figures when that kind of came back. If Banks is here, he'll know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
It created the Muscle Buster, which is why Samoa Joe used it, because he was a fan of this show, cartoon, and all that. And
this looks familiar. Okay.
I forget what the original name was, like King, like Rinkenku or something like that. It had I'm
finding a lot of shit that say Ultimate Muscle. So,
but I had a bunch of like the little toys of the wrestlers, and one day I drew the belts of the time, like the IC title of 05, the US title of 05, and like cut them out and put them for the wrestlers like to use. Like,
of course.
But I never did it like for myself.
This,
like that. Yes, that
I've seen this before.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I've seen this before.
Mm-hmm.
That man, the one in the middle, like got a butt in his face anyway.
Yeah, so those characters I had those like miniature figures, and I would like use those and created belts for those guys to use, and like that would kind of be my own wrestling league. But Yeah, the OG ECW World Title is not the Mark Henry giant ass
Right.
silver title, but yeah, that's another design that would be honorable mention. But
Skrilla.
Wrestling with friends, nah. I mean, I told the story about Powell driving my brother, and that didn't go.
You're wild. Wait, so Mo Skrilla asks, favorite pay-per-view set design? Do I pay attention to pay-per-view? I always
thing during my era.
I was going to say, like, even during Halloween Havoc, the most WCW would do for Halloween Havoc back in my day, they would take the ropes and make them orange and black.
No, but 97, 98 with the giant pumpkin and the Titantrons with the tombstones on it and the smoke coming out, like that's probably one of the GOAT designs. I mean, they were more common, like I said, during my era. Like Backlash had the giant hooks that were supposed to be like the lashing, I guess, or whatever it was supposed to symbolize. But
I kind of like when they do like TLC and it's like just like tables,
the chairs and tables,
they're just around, or like shit's like there were a couple years they'd have shit hanging. Like I like that stuff.
The chairs one time and they all fell on Wade Barrett when they were
exactly.
Yeah.
I like that type of stuff where you can actually use the props for something. But I don't know. Damn. The OG. Yeah, we mentioned that. Faction Cast Podcast asks, if you were booking a 5x5 war games, which makes sense because Survivor Series bringing the war games for both men and women, AEW versus WWE, who would be on y'all's team? Wow. AEW men's.
I'd have men's first. Okay.
I'd have to put my team. I'd have to put Moxley. I'd have to put Danielson. I'd have to put Keith Lee. Oh, and Pentagon and
in Phoenix.
Do I want Ann Phoenix?
You only fuck with Pentagon more than Phoenix. You like Ray Phoenix, but yeah.
I'm more of a Pentagon fan than because I feel like if Ray Phoenix is on my team, he's getting bounced out quick.
Well, it's not elimination. You think he's the one that takes the fall? That's what you're saying.
I'm gonna say if I'm going 5 people, my last spot is between Pac and Phoenix. I'm gonna go Pac, so that's my 5.
Yeah,
for AEW.
Who are the 5 WWE?
Roman Reigns. You gotta have Roman Reigns. Roman, Seth, who else is wrestling right now? Finn, AJ, Sammy? No, KO. I'll take KO over Sammy. That's my 5. Who you got?
For me, I think I have to do the basic, like it's the match we didn't want to see. I think in terms of like the interconnectedness of the story, it's Kenny, Matt and Nick, Hangman Page. I don't know who the 5th guy would be for
the Elite.
Adam Cole. Cole. And
are you going Elite versus Bloodline?
Then they face AJ, Finn, Kevin. Unfortunately, I'm going to say Cody. Because these guys all have history together. But
if you're going to do white versus white, you have to do Cody.
Yeah, I don't know who that 5th guy would be though.
It could be anybody. That fifth could literally be Austin Theory.
I would put Sammy in there because
I think Sammy's a great choice for that.
Because it was like Cien Jericho versus the Young Bucks early on, but that's kind of the most basic. But again, I'd like to see that just like the hype video for that. Would be amazing to be able to show all the footage from then over all the promotions.
ROH, fucking
ROH,
anywhere,
New Japan.
No, that could be dope.
AEW, yeah.
The bootleg documentaries on that AEW versus WWE match would be hard.
And that's what War Games is. It's men that have history going to war. Like they've wronged each other, and the women.
Oh, we didn't even get to women yet. Yeah. Shit, go.
Bianca, obviously.
Should we?
Are we still gonna say Sasha's allowed?
Fam would say Sasha was allowed. It's tough because she's
You know, I'm not because she hasn't been wrestling in the last 6. I'm
Good
going to say
point.
no just because she hasn't been a lot. It's been 6 months. So Bianca, you gotta put a Flair in there.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
Io Sky.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go Rhea Ripley. That way, there's another strength, and she probably will have like that Road Warrior Hawk.
No, that's very smart.
And then fuck it, I'll go. Damn it! Wait, who just came? I'll go with Morgan. Yeah, someone has to be like tossed around like Flying Brian.
Wow. Who's your AEW squad? AEW women's squad.
Toni Storm.
Uh-huh.
Jade Cargill.
Uh-huh.
Chris Statlander.
Uh-huh.
Jamie Hayter. And Willow.
Wow. All right.
I was almost gonna put Athena in there. I think she'll take it to the extreme.
No. No, apparently that's just how they were working.
Yeah.
Bianca, Rhea, Bailey, Io, Charlotte versus.
So no, Becky, you were almost close to the 4 horsewomen. You could have just put Bianca in the 4 women she could beat.
I'm over Becky. I'm so over Becky. They're gonna go against Serena Deeb, Toni Storm, Jade Cargill, Chris Statlander, Carl Sheeta. Fuck it.
Wow,
okay.
No Willow. Wow.
I love Willow.
Serena Deeb. I don't think Serena Deeb would fit in the War Games. I think she's a little too technical.
I think if you started,
she'd have to be the first one. She'd have to be Arn Anderson, where it's just technical wrestling at first.
She would be the first person I would put on the AEW team in there. Put a hot baby face in there. Serena stops him every time, just like a Baron Corbin. Who did he wrestle on Raw this week?
That was Gargano, right? Yeah.
Yes. There was a shot where Gargano was on the apron. He was jumping up. Baron said, pop. Yeah. He's really good with those stops. And I think a Serena Deeb would be really good in a war game. But anyway, we'll get it. I think we've got one. Kofi Jamal said his squad threw scripted punches and they had their own league. He was Intercontinental champ. He once got punished once for using too much foil.
Mom took out.
I'm saying, like, so when it was time to get your stuff right for your wrestling team, again, my shouts to Iron Mike. He's got VHS tape recordings up on social media. He finds them and he throws them online, and they were entering through the bushes. Like, you can't really hear the music, but that was your time. Banks said Ultimate Muscle looks like me when I don't have to get out of here. Final question of the night. Mo Skrilla asks, thoughts on Joey Styles as a commentator, and where could you see him commentating today? Did you watch a lot of Joey Styles, Trip?
When I started watching late 03, even though I always say it's early 04, he came back to WWE in 05.
Right.
That's how I was introduced to him. Then when I got when I got that Rise and Fall of ECW DVD, and watching those matches, I'd hear his commentary. So I think very highly of him as a commentator, and he's one of my favorites. I think. Oh no! When Banks and I one time we did a fantasy booking card for WrestleMania, I said my commentary. We even picked like the commentary team, and I said like Paul Heyman and Amora would be a good commentary team. But I'd like to see him back. Before he got kind of not canceled, but canceled a while back ago. He had a comment.
Yeah.
It was just a bad joke, is what he was trying to say.
It was during a live, like a Facebook Live or something?
It was like an Evolve show. He had made a comment about a woman that was like very Donald Trump-esque. Yeah. It was supposed to like play in. It was just like a bad joke.
Show or something?
No, it was just like a bad joke that like didn't fly, and people.
I don't remember.
He made like a lot of money, like out of wrestling, so he's doing fine. But I mean, if he were to come back, I don't know if he could be Joey Styles. I mean, I don't like the NXT commentary team right now with Vic and Booker T, so I'd like to see him on NXT.
Well, if Joey Styles were to come back as a commentator today, it'd have to be like GCW, right? Like where he would need to go somewhere where
that's too easy though as well.
Well, but like
for me, I don't want to just say that. But again, I also don't watch that much GCW.
But this is the thing where, because I watched ECW and I watched ECW before Joey Styles was not just the only commentator. Like it was.
Oh my god!
There were like I've podcasted on my own a couple of times, not a lot, but it's not easy to do it on your own, let alone doing commentary and keeping the story going during a TV show for like years. Like there were years where he had nobody with him. You know what I'm saying? Like he's very good, and it was very entertaining. The oh my god got over it. There was a lot of things that Joey Styles would do during matches as well as backstage as an interviewer. Some of my favorite moments were him 911. Like he was just so good at.
We are taking it to Philadelphia.
He was
live in the ECW arena.
I like if I'm like I go like it's like Gordon Soley, Jim Ross, Joey Styles is up there. Booker T is a person that's starting to edge into like my favorite commentary people just for the way he adds color to things. But like Jesse the Body Ventura, I think like Joey Styles is really good at combining a lot. He had his own personality, but he was also really good at letting you know what a match was. But him today, I feel like if you had him, you could probably have Joey Styles come in. Because like AEW already has too many people on the mic,
and the best team is kind of like Taz and Excalibur. Tony Schiavone is good when he's the third man with him, but Taz and Excalibur are the better duo. And then when they have Jim Ross, Chris Jericho, Excalibur, it's just the biggest headache because Chris Jericho is so bad as a commentator, and Jim Ross is unfortunately past his prime.
No, right? Well, I think if you. In certain situations, we got one more question that came up that I don't know the answer to. But in certain situations, like if you did like an FTW championship title tournament and you had Taz and Joey Styles doing commentary throughout those segments, I think that would be fire. I don't know if Joey Styles works in a WWE environment today or just like a straight AEW. GCW, I can see Joey Styles doing entire seasons of GCW pay-per-views as well as other smaller events. I don't think he works by himself on a grander scale. Pro wrestling is too far past having one person talk about all of what's going on in the ring and outside the ring and in the crowd at one time these days. It's too much. But
yeah. I see Hearts has asked, what's our favorite gesture?
That was the final question. Talk of Champions, aka Hart. Shouts out to Stan as well. What's y'all's favorite Jeff? The fact that you think I could remember.
I don't like Jeff Jarrett, so yeah.
Multiple Jeff Jarrett matches. To know what the one where he lost. Is there a Jeff Jarrett? Is there a Jeff Jarrett match where he gets like hit?
With his own guitar?
With a guitar, and then he loses, because that's my favorite Jeff Jarrett match.
All I know is Bound for Glory 2006. He hits Sting with the guitar, and then Sting does the and then like hits a Scorpion Death Drop and
wins. Was that on the timeline this week?
Yeah, because it was the anniversary of that. Yeah,
that's like my second.
That year when Jeff Jarrett came back and feuded with Kurt Angle, before Kurt Angle ended up stealing his girl, they had a good straight up match. It showed like Jeff Jarrett could still hang, and Kurt Angle was Perk Angle at that time, so he was going off.
Imagine asking me a question and getting mad at my answer. Get out of here.
It's Jeff Jarrett. Like that TNA theme, every time I hear it, I get fucking PTSD. It's just like,
Justin Tom. I think
Ron Breaker. We'll have to say that for another time. Ken Lewis, if you got a question to ask, again, we'll do this a few months from now. We'll run it back.
Right. Yeah. Save y'all questions. Again, Justin Thomas. I think I might add y'all questions.
Where were y'all at the beginning?
Well, yeah, we went an hour and we tried to. The thing is,
I got dinner. I gotta watch this game. Like,
yeah, Drip got to see his team lose. Shouts out to y'all with y'all questions. I really do appreciate anybody that's tapping in. Before we get out of here, though, Drip, do you want to let the people know where they can find you?
Yeah, again, thanks y'all for joining us today. Again, we'll do another live in the future, so don't worry if you missed out today. We'll run it back. And everyone who's been watching on the Patreon, on YouTube once they're uploaded there, I appreciate it. Again, I love doing this show, being able to talk about the stuff that we don't talk about as much on the regular show. So that's why we split it off here. And again, being able to do the show with Cal. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to Cal, Math, Mimi, Bam. Again, we're a team. We're a family, most importantly. So Turnbuckle Talk every Tuesday is where you can find Mimi.
Absolutely.
On Twitter Spaces. Fam, Lovey LeVeaux, something else. Every Wednesday they'll be back, but they got a whole playlist of season 1. Whereas Buffy every single Friday. Bam, you, Diz, whoever else. You and Math be doing Black Wrestling Podcast Club a lot. Semp and Vin, Bulls in the China Shop, shout out to them. And we do White Noise, and then Black Wrestling Proper every Thursday night. You can find me on Twitter at Davis, aka Drip. Instagram, Davis Colon DC, Banks versus Davis on YouTube, Banks versus Davis Patreon. I'm your BRP predictions champ, and come next Sunday, I'll still be your BRP predictions champion. Y'all watch when I win. What are you putting that on the screen for? Don't forget, Owen Hart was in the Nation. If that's what you're trying to be, like, remember, like.
Don't forget Owen Hart was in the Nation. It's funny. I'm sorry.
It started out with, it was Crush too. They had
Kona Crush and fucking Savio Vega. You right.
They had Wolfie D, right? And
PG-13.
Not Ice Spice. What was his name? Imagine
Ice Spice is funny.
In the Nation.
Yo,
yeah, you know,
talking shit. If y'all want to have a conversation about the best Jeff Jarrett matches, matter of fact, talking shit.
What do they say? Do you, beloved? Do you?
Do you, beloved? But also, do me a favor.
I ain't trying to hear it.
Please run down. No, I want to hear it. Run down the 10 best Jeff Jarrett matches.
Say 20 Jeff Jarrett matches from 2000 that are just him hitting guitars.
Tracy Smothers. The one memory I have of Tracy Smothers was
I'm shit talking Hearts, but she's a drop with it. I'm trying to agitate her.
How about that, right? In 1990, Great American Bash, they were facing the wild-eyed Southern boys who had Confederate flags on the back of their jackets. They were facing the Midnight Express, and Stan Lane was already doing like savate kicks and shit. But Tracy Smothers was supposed to be a karate man as well. So
I'm a karate man.
At the top of the show, they were like doing this with their fists, and like the other one, they would have to meet like this, and they were like, yeah, pow! And one of them hit him in the face, and they were doing like karate kicks and shit. I don't know if I'm be on this show for Jeff Jarrett. I'm sorry. I apologize, Drip. Do you have any other shots you wanted to do?
No, not that I can think of now.
At Cal on Twitter. At Black Wrestling on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. BlackWrestling.com is a website. As always, you can find the Black Wrestling Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, youtube.com. So that's Black Wrestling. Where you're watching this live right now. Salute to everybody who's checking this out. Normally, White Noise is on Patreon, patreon.com. So that's Black Wrestling. Pay the $1, pay the $10. You can get better structured content like this, as well as
Black Watch. That's what I forgot to say.
Black Watch. We got a new episode of Black Watch dropping every Monday until we're out of Black people.
I'm trying to think what's this week. So I think they already moved on to 14. Would that be Rock Shamrock, or is there a match before that?
Hold up. Because we're on live right now, I will check the Patreon. I forget
this past week was Ahmed and LOD versus The Nation. The Nation's debut at Mania.
Let me confirm that I have an episode scheduled for tomorrow. Manage post scheduled. I don't. I gotta check and see what tomorrow.
The tape proceeds to roll.
No, the thing is we have a number of episodes in the chamber. I just need to make covers for them. But if you're patreon.com/Black Wrestling, we're somewhere in WrestleMania 13 or 14. Like you said, it was
should be 14. Yeah,
it was the Ahmed Johnson LOD versus the Nation of Domination match. Yeah. So whatever is after that is going to whatever Black person in the pro wrestling match at WrestleMania is after that's the next one. But Fam and Downtown Tony Brown have been working. I got like 3 or 4 episodes, maybe 5 episodes in the chamber right now. So there's no shortage. I kind of wish there was one scheduled, but it's been a busy week. Anyway, you can catch us next week on the Patreon and then the YouTube. I'll talk to y'all soon.
Peace.
Peace.